5 candle business tips in 5 days. Welcome to day 1, tip 1, which is all about your business model and replication, and we'll even talk a little bit about pricing. To make sure you don't miss out on the other 4 videos in this series, or any other videos for that matter, be sure to hit subscribe to the channel below, and don't forget to click that little bell icon. That way you will be notified whenever I post the next videos. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Wade with Black Tie Barn Candle Company. We talk about candle making and candle business on this channel, and whether you make candles as a hobby or as a business, or maybe it's someday hope to run a business, I hope you enjoy this video. Today's tip is to replicate before you iterate. In other words, start with something that's already working, and then you can worry about changing it or improving it or tweaking it to make it your own later. Maybe another way of saying it is don't recreate the wheel if you don't have to. And I'm actually going to break this down in 2 different ways that may help your business. And look, I get it. As a new business owner, you want to stand out. You want to make it your own, which that's a good thing. In fact, ultimately, it's the right thing. But the truth is, candle making isn't new. It's been around for ages. So the whole debate or argument of whether you should be first or be best really doesn't apply here. For the most part, with some exceptions, it's very hard to enter the candle industry with some kind of new grand idea, especially if no one even knows who you are and you don't have a customer base to help support that new idea. We all want to run, but first we learn how to walk. So I find it easier and better to see what other successful candle businesses are doing and what's working well. Now granted, there's more success to what they're doing than just the products they're making, but that's a good start. Again, don't be in a rush to recreate the wheel if the wheel isn't broken. There's a reason why suppliers and advertisers and big brands follow trends. It's because it's what customers want. It's because it's working. And this is why most fragrance oil suppliers, for example, have a best seller section, or a best seasonal fragrances, or a trending fragrances section. Now, this doesn't just apply to fragrances, of course. It can be about the vessel type and what's trending with jars and looks and colors. Really, there's all sorts of things, right? But the point is to see what's working and start with that. You can always dabble, experiment, and expand later. But this rule to replicate before you iterate or duplicate before you change doesn't only apply to making the products. It also applies to pricing models. And I know that most candle makers, new candle business owners, or any new business owners for that matter, really stress about how to price their products. Do you want to price your products as like a luxury item where you're charging more than everyone else, but you're trying to put it in a premium market? So it's a smaller market, but a larger margin market. Or do you want to undersell the competition? Well, that's a tough one, and good luck with that, because most of these larger, cheaper candle lines are all made overseas in Vietnam for pennies, and they're sold at like 12 ounces for $3. I mean, that's just impossible for a small business to compete with. So do you nestle somewhere in the middle? So instead of trying to differentiate on price, you're more focused on branding. But all of that is up to you. The price point, the part of the market that you want to be in, that's up for you to decide. Every business is going to be different. However, there are certain pricing models or methods that work regardless of the price point. So why do these large companies like Yankee Candle or Goose Creek Candles or Nest or Bath & Body Works all continue to be successful? And no, it's not just about their advertising. It's about how they advertise. And no, it's not just about their pricing. It's about how they show their prices. They use several proven tactics to encourage sales. For example, price anchoring. And this is a method where your first and most marketed products that you show are your most expensive products, your luxury products. So if their most expensive candle is a $60 candle, that is what they show the customer first. That is what they lead with. It might be the first product you see, and it's probably the first product on their landing page. Unless, of course, they're temporarily running some type of promotion or sale. Why? Well, it's the same reason that many high-end restaurants show their most expensive bottle of wine first. And I'm going to have a separate video going into this at a later time into more detail. But to summarize, let's look at what can happen if you lead with your most expensive item. Well, option A is that the customer just decides to buy that. Well, that's a win for you right off the bat. You just sold your most expensive and most likely highest margin product. That's great. But B, they say, well, that's too much for me. Let me see what's next. And then they see that item. And that item, regardless of what that price is going to instantly seem like a better deal. Why? Because they've anchored themselves to that first price. Customers, as human nature, base everything off of the first price they see. So if the first thing they see is most expensive, everything else seems like a better deal. Even if it's not, it sure appears to be that way. So it's very easy to get that sale, which is still a great sale for you with great margins because you've arranged and designed your products in this fashion. A lot of software companies, you'll see they have a free or a low-end service. They have their third tier, which is their most expensive, and then there's one in the middle, and it usually says best deal. They're encouraging you to purchase that middle option, even though they have a more expensive one. And a lot of customers will end up going with that one, even if it's more than they were planning on spending originally. Just can't pass up that good of a deal, right? Well, let's look at a company that uses a different approach, which is Starbucks. Now, most of you, if you go to Starbucks, have probably always been aware that as you go up in a larger size of drink, that the price increases are actually exponentially less between those sizes. For example, you can get a grande, which is a 16-ounce coffee, let's say for $5.75. Or you can get a tall, which is 12 ounces, for like $5.15, which means you can roughly get 33% more coffee for only like a 10% increase in price. So why on earth would anyone purchase this smaller drink when the price is that close? It seems like that larger drink is such a better deal. But trust me, they're making huge margins on that grande size still. It's not that the larger size is a good deal, it's just that the smaller size is an awful one. All right, I went on a little bit of a tangent there, but the point is, see what other successful candle businesses are doing in the industry and try to replicate their models. Don't try to compete, just use it as inspiration and as sort of a guide to get you going. You can build upon that guide later and add your own twist at a later point as well. Whether that is an interesting promotion or finding a sweet spot on pricing, or even just adding something unique to your own product line. You can do that down the road. The best way to learn is to learn from the best. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out one of these next two videos here on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe to catch the other videos in this series. I'll see y'all next time.